How do we start it though? Just like that, hey? Hey, Daryl.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Daryl. Good to see you again. We're here. I don't know if anybody noticed or if you haven't watched our first episode yet, you can go back and see it. But when we were done
Yeah.
recording, Daryl had mentioned that it kind of looked like I might have looked like a kind of Disney character there with the way I had my discs set up. So in honor of that, I've come prepared with
There you
my
go.
R2D2 ears
That's
that I
almost,
picked up.
that's almost perfect. It's just
And
they
actually,
look like they're just sitting on the shelf right now.
well, I'm not going to wear this the whole episode. I just thought you might get a kick out of that.
Okay.
Now, I know I threw this on you. We didn't discuss this. So put on your
Yeah.
thinking cap here and shoot some
Yeah.
holes in my idea.
The bit of a pause there was me taking a second to try and think the pros and the cons.
And all you can
I,
think of is how wonderful the idea is, right?
yeah, we'll end the episode there.
Yeah, no, no.
Or should I say, it could be partly my catchphrase? You know that I like your idea, but you're wrong.
Ouch.
I
So
don't know.
what?
I don't necessarily love the idea. I'm not going to say I hate it. I'm just
Okay.
trying to think why I don't like it. I
Hey,
think
everybody. Welcome to Chain Out, the disc golf podcast for Canada. Nope, I'm not doing that one. I got lost. I got lost.
I could
I,
feel you were like searching for words.
I'm like, I went way beyond the simple thing.
Yeah.
So we'll do it again. 5 seconds. It'll just be simpler. I think what it is I don't know what
Episode 3?
it's episode 3, but do I want to call it the Chain Out or Welcome to Chain Out podcast? Episode 3, I think.
Chain Up Podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's how we've got it labeled. So.
Yeah.
With you. I'm Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Daryl.
Hello, everybody. How's it going, Jeremy?
Going well, Daryl. How about you? How you feeling, buddy?
I don't know. Can you tell? My voice is. I'm not. I got that bit of a sexy Barry White voice going on, I think.
Oh,
Or
you
just
say sexy Barry White. I was thinking maybe a little Phoebe Buffet smelly cat
Phoebe.
voice there.
Yeah.
Podcasting energy that we've got is like a healing energy. That's what I'm going
There
to
you
say.
go. Yeah. Channeling my inner Phoebe Buffet.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next
Smelly
one.
cat.
Until
Smelly.
then. Till then, Smelly Cat says, chain out.
Chain out.
There for it. But for me, I think what the difference is that if I have an errant shot at Nor'Wester, I'm gonna hit a car. A car is pretty strong. It's gonna my disc is gonna bounce off it. If I have an errant shot at the hills and
I
I
know
hit
where
a
you're going.
person, it's gonna bounce off them, but it could do a lot more damage hitting a person. And I feel that those tight
Right.
lines, I'd rather go onto a road and hit a car or hit a truck or something like that than hit an actual person. So that's what I'm gonna use as my deciding factor of why I'd prefer to play Nor'Wester. Plus, Nor'Wester is gonna have the longer distance, all the things that we
Right.
talked about than the hills. But one of those things is I'd rather hit a car than hit a person.
That's a fair.
Hey everyone, welcome to Chain Out Podcast. I'm Jeremy, and with me as always is your favorite co-host, Daryl.
Favorite co-host?
Why, thank you, Daryl and Jeremy. I'm so happy to be on Chain Out Podcast with you and glad that you were able to invite me. I'm really excited to tell you a lot about what oh, I'm not the guest that you were expecting to have on the show tonight? How did you know?
That's the thing. So I had a huge mix, a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different brands, but then I hold a Comet, and then I hold a Buzz, and then I hold a Wasp, or I hold whatever. Name your EMAC Truth or whatever.
Yeah.
They all feel a little bit differently in your head. It's not the same disc, even
Yeah.
if it's virtually the same disc. If you hold an EMAC Truth and a Buzz SS or whatever
Yeah.
you consider to be the same as that, it's not gonna in your head it's not going to be the same disc. So
Yeah.
Right.
That's such an interesting way to look at it, Jeremy. I've never thought about that. I mean, I know I've spoken. Obviously, Tim said that at one point he had 7 Nate Sexton
Firebird.
Firebirds in his bag, and they kind of explain it. Yeah, obviously, the more beat in the disc gets, the more understable it gets. So that's why they have that. But until Brendan just said it, then like not necessarily having the disc because it beats in, but just having it because it feels the same. You've got
Yes.
the same disc in your hand, you're throwing it, and it's that's kind of just has hit me there for a second. So it feels like I feel like
and
I've just leveled up in my disc golf knowledge now. But that's the reason for having multiple discs of the same, because of the feel.
yeah, like I'm not trying to get you to stop buying discs. I just want you to buy more of the exact same disc.
Yeah,
And then
there
if
we
it's
go.
wrong,
Yeah,
you just have to buy more of a different disc.
you want to hear something? I hear there's a secret word on the street. I don't know nothing, but I hear the secret word is horse feeder. But you didn't hear it from me. Yeah, no. So who knows what's going to happen in the spring and summer? Maybe we might go down to 1 every 2 weeks. Maybe we'll
Don't
the
talk
quality won't.
like that.
Who knows what's going to happen? I'm just preempted. I'm just kind of giving ourselves a barrier. What do they say? Under promise and over deliver.
Over deliver. I'm
There
just
you
going to
go.
over deliver all the time. You
Yeah,
like the
no,
weekly? We're giving you the weekly.
Yeah, you don't have to episode. All right, let's do it. What have you been up to? People don't want to hear our woes of editing. They just want the final product, and this is the final product. So, what have you been up to?
It's easy for you to say, hey, yeah, I'm cool if women play. Oh, it's a women's event. I'm going to go out to this other course and play that weekend. Well, why wouldn't you just give that weekend up and support them?
That's such a good point.
I was thinking
Absolutely.
that same thing, Jeremy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like I know
Well,
Kristen
it makes
Swirls
total sense as well.
Kristen Swirls, I think, has an event coming up, right?
She's
How
up
many
first.
men-
She's up first.
Yeah.
She's up first. How many men are going to step up and spot? Like when I was in Cranbrook for Crush in 2022, we were flooded. Like the men were running the raffles, they were running the check-in, they were giving out, like passing the prizes to the tournament director, they were spotting. They like it was insane. Like we had so many men out there doing so many great things for the sport. It was just awesome to see the support. I had Crush here. We had guys coming out. We had families coming out. The moms were playing, and the sons and husbands were helping. And I think it's really important. It's very easy to say I'm okay with women playing. It's a little harder to give up your time to support women playing, and that's what speaks volumes. That's the true show of how much you really want them there. Does that? I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
I'm not calling anybody
speaks
out in
volumes.
particular. I'm just saying from personal experience and noticing the necessity of needing men, especially, to walk the walk. Just don't talk the talk.
well,
I
Carrie,
feel like that was just a light bulb moment that you just mentioned there, because when you were saying it, in my mind, I was thinking, well, it's a women's event, so they don't want that masculinity involved in it because they don't want, the men are here thinking that we can't look after the event. Like that was my mindset. But then when hearing you say that you want men involved because it shows that we're supporting, I looked at it from a different point of view, and I can understand now, actually we should be volunteering. And it's not like we're trying to take over. It's not like we're trying to say you can't run your own event. We're not saying any of that. It's just being involved and doing whatever needs to be done. Like you said, picking up litter, spotting, and anyway, anything that happens just to make the tournament run successfully.
And the best thing to do is just reach out to the female TD and say, I want to give up my weekend and help you out. What can I do?
Guess what, Jeremy?
what?
Now our listeners and viewers have a chance to enter their own competition, because, drum roll please, we're announcing our first ever Chain Out podcast competition. Woo, woo, woo. It just sounds like we're a bunch of trains.
Our guest today is an Alberta FPO player. She is a personal coach with Fit Theorem. She is the captain of BR's 2024 ambassador team. She is one of the most positive and energetic people you will meet. She likes to go by the title Heiser Hang on, Daryl.
What?
I got to stop the intro, man.
Why? I thought you were doing a good job.
Well, when you have a great guest on like we do today,
Right.
I don't think the standard intro is going to work. I think we need more.
More? How can you
Yeah.
how can we go bigger than that?
I think we need a song, buddy.
A song? It better be a solo song.
Yeah, no, I was going to put you on this spot right away.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm thinking more of a song. Yeah, are you ready for this? I hope you're ready for
I'm
this.
ready.
I've been working on
I'm
this
buckled
all
in.
week. All week I've been
Okay.
working on this.
Okay.
All right,
I
so this is
expect
a
nothing less.
song inspired by the great Tom Jones. Here we go. High's a bomb, high's a bomb, high's a bomb hong. Not only can she throw it straight, but she can throw it long. High's a bomb, high's a bomb, high's a bomb hong. It's time to bring her on the show. So Daryl, if you're ready, let's go. So what do you think?
That's awesome. That's one of the best intros yet. I don't know how you're going to keep topping it, but
I don't-
the listeners demand that you top it each week, so you're setting the bar high.
Don't speak for the listeners. They may have said, don't ever do that again, Jeremy.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
That's right.
Hello,
Daryl
Jeremy.
and
Welcome.
Jeremy!
Welcome to episode 18.
Yes, episode 18. How are you doing, buddy?
I don't even know what to say.
Well, what could ever you mean? You're not liking my attire that I'm sporting today?
I felt like
Well, Miguel, with Daryl saying that, he's got a funny story at one of our local courses that happened to him last summer. So he was out playing on his own, and sometimes we think that people out on the parks and that just don't even know what a disc golf course is. So he's standing on the tee pad and he's looking straight out at the basket, and in between him, halfway between, there's a log, and there's a lady there, and she's taking some selfies and getting all her pictures for her Instagram and everything else. So he kind of is just sitting there waiting nicely, kindly. He's not going to throw. And she kind of looks at him and then sees he's there. So she's going to move and get out of the way. And she moves and proceeds to the disc golf basket so that she can use the
And
disc
stands
golf
right there.
basket to put her phone in.
Yeah.
yeah.
So have you ever had any things like that on the course when you've been out there? Any funny stories like that?
Well, the first time that I ever saw a basket, I was in somewhere in Ontario. I was playing a soccer match, and there was a basket behind me, and I didn't know what it was, right? So I looked over, and I was thinking, what could this thing be? So
Right.
I walked over, and I did like a full circle around it, and I was like, oh, it's probably a horse feeder, right? So I
Yeah,
went
fair enough,
back, and
fair
I was
enough.
like, I see the chains. They probably put the hay underneath,
Yeah.
and they, I don't know, tie their horse into one of the chains, and because it has so many of them, you can put a bunch of different horses in there, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. And then years later, when I came to BC, I was playing disc golf on Salt Spring Island, and somebody said like, oh, you know, you don't supposed to play disc golf with the tunnel. There's a basket. And I was like, basket? What's a basket? They're like, oh, you got to go to Nanaimo. That was the closest basket that we had. And when I saw the thing for the first time, I was like, no, that's a horse feeder. They're like, no, man, that's a basket. So I can see how the lady thought that it was the perfect tripod for her phone, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And it
Well,
makes
that-
so much sense when you say that, because I can see how you would think that would be a horse feeder. It looks exactly like what I would think a horse feeder would be like.
What you...
Hey, wait, the music's over.
Oh, we're on. We're live.
We are. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Chain Out podcast. I am your humble host, Daryl,
Yeah.
and I'm joined as always by this
I don't-
handsome-looking guy over here, Jeremy.
I was gonna think, am I the what is the opposite of humble? The braggadocious?
The braggadocious.
Braggish?
That's the word that doesn't get used enough.
I do like pulling out a couple of those ones. I'm not a Seth Milichuk from Severance with his voracious vocabulary.
Right.
If you know, you know. But I do try to add a couple big words in here and there once in a while.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, this is our Chain Out Fantasy League, episode 4, our 5th Canadian A tier of the season, the BC Open Pro event. Because
Yeah,
there was
pro event. Why are
yeah.
you telling us it's the pro event?
Well, the BC Open was split into 2 A tiers. They were both A tiers, but there was an AM.
Mm.
They had so many people sign up. There was an AM side and a pro side. And I made the executive decision because you wanted to do the AMs, and I said, you know what? I think we're just going to stick to the pros for this season.
Well, it's amazing though just to see that the BC Open is officially the largest tournament in Canada, I would think, at this point.
Yeah.
Until maybe we'll see what nationals shakes out to be.
Yeah.
But BC Open has built such a following and such a base and attracts so many people up from the US that they did need to split it into 2 weekends just
Yeah.
to be able to get that all the players in that wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like tournaments like Falcons and stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's a little bit of a different situation for them because they're on a private property. There's other things going on, but it would be cool to see
Could
more
get to that
tournaments
point.
do it. Those ones that fill up in like split seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the BC Pro, that's what we're focused on tonight.
The BC
Open
Open Pro event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you're listening and watching live, then that means that you are one of our Patreon subscribers. You clicked on that free link. Oh, you know what?
Is there no free?
You keep talking, Jeremy, and I will just add the
that
free
you
link
clicked on the free link that we put in our Patreon. We usually have it so early, ready for you to go. But every once in a while, what we like to do is just make sure that you're really paying attention. And what we do is we go live and we do things on the fly.
Yeah.
And before you know it, there's a link appearing in there for you, and then you can grab it. So all those people that we thought were watching our pre-show today, the full pre-show, all 15 minutes of it, right down to our last joke, didn't get a chance to do it.
He didn't get a chance to.
So you know what we'll do? We'll do the joke here while we're waiting. So right at the very end, because you didn't get to see it today, there is a joke. And it's a joke that we borrowed, I think, from Miles of Discs. We took it on loan from him. So 3 discs go into a bar. The putter goes up and has a beer.
Yeah.
The mid-range, he goes up. He has a nice shot of tequila. The bartender turns over and says to the last disc, "What are you going to have to drink?" He says, "Nothing. I'm the driver." As far as disc golf dad jokes go, I think that one pretty much ranks right up there, doesn't it?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's why it's on the intro.
Yes, for sure. So now the link should be in there for those people listening, looking to listen live and going, "What did you guys do to me?"
Yeah, where's the link? Did you forget to put it in there?
Yeah. So with our Around the Basket episodes and our fantasy episodes, we do put a link in Patreon so that you can join. You can be part of it live. We'll interact with you in the chat. You can help influence our picks. And then after that, especially with these ones, we post them up immediately as quickly as we can. With our Patreon Around the Basket episodes, they come out usually about Saturday or so.
Yeah, exactly.
On YouTube.
With the nature of these events, and we like to put our picks out on Instagram, so we figure we need to get the episode out as soon as possible as well, so everybody can join in and play along.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get this episode out right away.
Yeah, and to the Patreon side of things, we're happy to say we're up to 31 members now, and we'd like you to keep telling your friends and family, everyone else, to subscribe if they want to get even more chain out style content, more Canadian disc golf, something with a little bit more tongue-in-cheek at times, a little bit more fun off the cuff. We try to have some chats, try to have some discussions and that type of thing.
The good thing about the Patreon is it's you have access to 3 different podcasts, because you get access to the Chain Out Fantasy League, obviously what you're watching or listening to now.
Yes.
You get access to the Around the Basket, our flagship Patreon podcast.
Yes.
But then when we don't have a guest on around the basket, you also get
You get around the basket.
you get around the basket, but just with us. But
Yeah.
was there a third thing that we normally did?
Well, we've done a number of different
We have
iterations.
done
We
it
had
in different
Family
things.
Feud. We do a lot. We really, you and I are
Thought there was a
fans of
third.
the quizzes.
Yeah,
So
we
we've
do
been
like
mixing those in around the basket. But early on, we
I think-
had some guests.
I think basically what we're saying is Patreon episodes are just for us.
Yeah. Well,
we like to play, we like to have fun, we like to engage.
and we hope you have fun with it as well.
Yeah.
But so tonight, though, we are going to do the BC Open Pro, and
Yeah.
we're expecting Carrie Neal to join us probably about 8:45. So we got another 8 minutes or so before
Exactly.
that happens.
Yeah.
But I think while we're talking about it, we should probably go into just telling people, how does a fantasy episode work?
Right.
And we can kind of do that and maybe do a recap of the LTL, because those are
Let's
things.
do a
Carrie doesn't
recap
really
because we want to
know.
make sure that Carrie understands all the rules as well. So we'll
Okay.
wait till she gets here to clarify everything there.
Yeah.
But we can go back and like you say, recap the LTL because there was a little bit of a mix up that happened with that. We did the last episode. Our guest was Chance Stad.
Yes.
Got it right.
The hilarious but dry
Yeah.
humored Chance Stad.
A great guest to have on the show. He did our LTL picks.
Mm-hmm.
We did it as we were doing this one. We went live on oops, sorry, Dylan. On Patreon, we did our picks on a Wednesday. But
The tournament
didn't
started on a
look-
Thursday.
We didn't look that the tournament actually started the next day, so that was our bad for not getting the post out for the Instagram followers to vote on their team.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said in last week's episode, if there's nothing on Instagram, don't forget you can always head over to Chain Out Podcast because that's where the podcast picks live over there as well.
That's
And
right.
who knows, in the future, maybe we might kind of move it away from Instagram. Maybe we'll put more emphasis on the chainoutpodcast.com because then it will
As
force
it
more
starts to
traffic
grow.
over that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could always go over there and make your votes for the subscribers as well.
Now, I don't want to rush us into the LTL recap part because I don't know that it's going to do much for my points, but I want to see what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you want first? Do you want the points, the tournaments? Subscriber
Oh.
vote didn't change because we didn't get it out.
Well, let's just put the subscriber
walking
vote
that
up
one.
there so everyone knows
So
where it's at.
currently, right now, Team Guest has one win from the fans.
Yeah.
I want to say fans, from the subscribers.
From the
Team
listeners.
JPAL has taken down 2 wins.
Yeah, yes, we have.
The fans have got, or the subscribers have got more faith in you this year than they had last year.
Well, and I don't know what would have happened had they picked for LTL.
Well,
It might have been misplaced.
Yeah. And on Team Shambles, still without any wins from the subscribers.
Maybe BC Open Pro is your opportunity.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
All right, so that's where we look like there.
So, well, let's just say I took down the win.
Okay.
So if we go to the tournament wins, we see that Team Guest Invite still leading with 2 wins.
Right.
I'm now on the board with 1 win, and Jeremy has got his 1 win there as well. So it's a little bit more even now.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the points because this is where you might want to look away.
Okay, look away.
So I don't have
look
the
away.
individual points, but let me just, if I can bring it up on this screen over here, I'll be able
Because
to
we
tell
picked
you.
5 MPOs that tournament, and we picked 1 MPO each. That's how we got to our 6, or 1 FPO, 5 MPOs. That's how we got to our 6 picks.
Yeah, exactly. So adding up the points from the LTL,
Mm-hmm.
Chance came in second. He had a total of 69 points.
Right. How did he get to 69?
So he had 2 eagles. No, he had 4 eagles because in eagles were 15 points.
How do you mean that super rare eagle that he was talking to us
Yeah,
about?
those eagles are more rare than aces. And he had a couple podiums and some top 10s as well. Jeremy had 2 eagles,
Yes,
a couple of podiums, and a couple of top 10s, but not as many.
No.
Team Shambles did not live up to his name. Picked the MPO winner, picked the FPO winner, and had 4 eagles and 5 eagles.
Five
me.
eagles.
5
That's
eagles
such a difference
and a lot of top
maker.
10s.
Yeah.
It was all in there. So Team Shambles had 88 points.
Oh my gosh.
Team Money Disc 69 points.
Yeah.
Team J-Pow with just a lonely 38 points. 50
points
points
at
behind.
LTL.
So if we add those points to the current point,
were. He said he had adjusted his strategy a little bit to try and capture some of those 15 points. And it worked out well. He got 4 eagles, you got 5. So there is that as part of the
but I don't think
strategy.
that can be a strategy to try and.
It's tough unless you really know the course and you know the
Yeah,
players.
exactly. And I think, I got lucky because we know Thomas has got a big arm. So those par fours, he's getting those eagles on. But maybe, someone with a smaller arm or a less power, they're not going for the green in one on a par four, or they
Right.
don't have the ability to get to a green on par four. So, I mean, there's a little bit of strategy there, but not. Thomas didn't get all my aces. They were spread around.
Yeah, that's true. That
Yeah.
is true for sure. So
And I don't think it's not a strong enough strategy to rely on.
no, not at
Yeah.
all. And also too, like that was a newer course, right? They played Mount Sema,
Mm-hmm.
and that was up on a ski hill.
Right.
And in talking to Thomas, there's some lines that only Thomas, Connell, Luke, those type of people could really get, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they were those ones that were quite the what would you call it? Like the big bombs that
The
you
big
could put
arms.
over the top. So
Yeah. And then also don't forget, another, it's just that, and kind of why I made the points where you are. Um, Aces are worth 10 points as well, and we've seen that in the Dieppe Open where, you know, I forget his name, but there was an ace in the tournament during that event. So
right.
it's not like something that you can even predict that okay, this person's going to get an ace.
Yeah. That
It,
could be
it
the case for sure. So I'm going to take a look here because I'm thinking, oh, there we
oh.
go. Just in time here, too. And I was thinking, I don't know if I had sent our guest a link. I was just going to check on that. And sure enough, our guest has come in there. So our guest is probably very, would you call that? Studious or so, or
Just
problem solving, and maybe said, man, I got enough links from these guys. If
yeah,
they didn't send us one, I've got one.
there
So,
you go.
all right. So let me get a
Let's
little intro here to
go
our
for it.
guest here. I think we had it there. Well, I think really all it was is the guest that, one of your favorite lines, the guest that needs no introduction, the legend that we've had on the podcast so many times. We're going to bring on Carrie Neal onto the podcast to help us with the guest picks here. Hey, Carrie.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh
We
yeah, we can hear
can.
you.
So now I'm just trying to think, did I not give you a link and you found a link, or did I send you one? I can't remember.
No, you gave me a link, but I was doing last minute TCO, like
Oh
Carrie
Oh,
Neal
yeah, yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
trying to get it linked. Yeah.
Well,
So
there's two
sorry. I
things,
looked at my watch and I was like, shoot.
No,
oh,
that's
no
okay.
worries. Two things I want to say. One, we've seen your background a few times and we've always commented, and it looks like we've got an upgrade to the podcast background there.
I'm actually in my kitchen. I am not in my bedroom, but yeah, I got some discs there, and then I
Nice.
won't show you over here because it's a hot mess. But yeah,
Well,
and then
there
I
you
threw up
go.
some artwork to make it look fancy.
There.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, you are working on, because if people don't know, which a lot of people would who listen to our podcast know, that you are one of the tournament directors for the Tournament Capital Open. So you're
Yep.
busy working on that because that's coming up next week in Kamloops. How is that going?
Good. I gotta touch all the wood around me, like, oh my God, because yeah, it's nothing, everything's going right. Let's just say that.
All right.
Okay.
And I just seen the email that you sent out or posted on Disc Golf Scene that the caddy book has been linked, but you're still working on distances for Dick Hill.
Dick Hart, yeah.
Dick Hart,
So
sorry.
the guys went out tonight just to double check because we've moved some tee pads and stuff, and we just want to make sure that the signage, because it's going to print. So
Right.
we're printing just temporary signs and want to make sure the lengths are right. So when people are practicing, the distances are there. So the
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
guys went out tonight with rangefinders and redid the whole course tonight.
Okay.
So
Great. Yeah, and sorry, not only Dick Hart is going to be played this year, also Rose Hill is back in the mix. And I wanted
It
to
is.
tell, I'm excited about that. I'm not going to be able to check it out, but one thing that got me more excited, I wanted to let you know, was I went out to River City Cup this weekend, and I was caddying for my friend Mark. And while I was on that card, Bruce and Thomas from the Kamloops Disc Golf Club were there.
Nice.
And they showed me some pictures of what you guys have done at Rose Hill and told me that
Yep.
there's been like almost $150,000 of investment into the course over
Yep.
the past 2 years. It's
Yep.
like, oh, it's going to be so amazing. Are you excited for that to kind of
Really
reintroduce Rose
excited.
Hill?
Really excited. So the city invested last year with concrete tee pads and baskets, and we didn't include Rose Hill because those upgrades weren't quite done.
Right.
And then we took all of last year in the spring, and we've defined fairways and built up. Hole 18 is beautiful. It's like we brought in like huge landscaping rocks, and we built like a huge island for hole 18, and we've lined fairways with them, and we got to ride more. So we mow our fairways now and weed whack
Okay.
everything, so it's super defined. So when you're off the fairway, it's taller grasses. So it it's gonna show so well. We're super excited.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That,
awesome.
yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully, I know Park Pro isn't getting the opportunity to do it much filming
No,
at all this year, but hopefully
no.
there'll be some other people with a camera doing a little bit of a live stream here and there or something like that.
I hope so. I hope we get people taking lots of photos and sharing, because yeah, Park Pro just isn't filming this year at all. They were the first people we called, and
Hmm.
yeah, so unfortunate. Like, yeah, Canadian disc golf lost a gem there, but
Well, and
we
who
get it.
knows? There lots of things can happen, because as people move through their lives and they go through the
Yep,
family phase and everything else, those two
yep.
guys are so passionate, Matt and Andre. I'm sure we haven't seen the
Yeah.
last of what they're going to do, right? So,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
except
Yeah.
for
I
as
think
Matt's
Andre's
already
dipping
ripping
his
up.
toe into TDing. So
Oh, yeah. So Andre's working
yeah,
on that, and then Matt's been doing pretty well in the MP40 division, as long as his buddy Jeremy Gauthier doesn't show up, I think is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this
oh, that's
season,
awesome.
we're both heading out to nationals. That was one of our
Congratulations, by the
tournaments.
way.
Thank
Why
Yeah.
didn't you
you.
get to know that earlier? That's so fantastic. That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, we were excited about that. We had the conversation, and we weren't sure whether we were allowed to say anything, but we kind of kept it under wraps, and we were just excited to announce it. And then the Daryl posted it on Disc Golf Scene, or sent out the email
Yep.
for the players and things like that, and we were like, okay, we
We
can
can talk
we can
about it.
talk about it now. And it's yeah, like you said,
Nice,
it's
nice.
so exciting for us to be, even to be asked
Yes.
to be to kind of MC and host that opening ceremony. So that's awesome.
So we'll
That's
we'll
very
see.
cool.
We're gonna try to put out as much content as we can in lieu of having groups like Park Pro there. We'll go live. We'll do that. People will either be so excited about what's going on that weekend and be staying in tune the whole weekend, or they'll be unfollowing us because they're like, man, these guys won't stop sending stuff.
Don't
Well, what I was
unfollow. Just turn off your notifications for the weekend. That's all you have
yeah,
to do.
That's
there you
right.
go. No, I was going to say that this year we're going to nationals,
Mhm.
and then I went out to Smith Lake Farm for the disc golf clinic out there.
Yes.
We seem to be doing one or two major big trips this year, and probably for each year. So I think the fact that you've talked about playing TCO in your
Oh,
first year of playing, and now I've seen all the work that you're putting into the course, and you're talking it up. I think
that's on your next year.
I think that's got to be on next year's list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
It's
be
our
back.
5-year anniversary next year, so do come. We got lots of
Oh,
stuff planned for next year. So yeah.
Good.
there you go.
All right, well,
Perfect.
that'll be what we'll be talking about next week. We'll be
Yeah.
doing fantasy picks, but this week we're doing the BC Open Pro.
Yeah.
We need to explain to Carrie exactly how it works, and maybe to any
Exactly.
of our listeners. So do you
Yeah.
want to take that on?
I can take that on for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the Chain Out Fantasy League. We're going to be picking 3 MPO and 3 FPO, and that we're so happy at this event that we're actually have a full enough field that we can actually pick 3 FPO each. Previous events we've had to modify where we've picked 4 MPO and only 2 or 1 FPO because of the field. But this one we're going to pick 3 MPO, 3 FPO.
Mm-hmm.
The I don't want to say the loser, but the person who came last in the previous event gets to pick the order of the snake draft.
Yes.
So that would be you.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to be picking in a snake draft style. So first person gets the first overall pick. Person number 2 gets the second pick. Third person gets picks 3 and 4, and then back up the order again.
Mm-hmm.
let's do a
Okay.
quick recap on the points. So, out of your MPO and FPO picks, you'll get 5 points for a win. You'll get 3
Right.
points if any of your players end up on the podium. And you get 1 point if any of your players finish in the top 10.
Yes.
This is a bit of controversy, but for an eagle, you'll get 15 points, and aces are worth 10 points because apparently eagles are more rare than aces, even though every ace is an eagle. But that we're gonna go over that. Gonna skirt
Well,
over
that's
that
just
point.
like the CT. An ace isn't a CTP, so.
Yes, there you go. That's right, Carrie. Well, and we had Chance on last week, and Chance, you know him with his dry sense of
Oh,
humor.
oh yeah,
w-
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was just giving us the gears on the Eagles worth 15 points, and
yeah.
it was fun.
Anyway,
Back to the format.
back to the format. So there we go. So that's how we play.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I got to get my screens.
Yeah, got to get your screen ready. And one
Yeah.
of the things, Carrie, as team guest, you're picking on behalf of the guest, keeping that going. You do have to come up with a team name. So think about that, and we'll get that team name put on the screen there. Give you some examples. So Matt Lysak was Team Hoodis,
Yep.
was who he was. And Kevin King was Team Kingdom when he was on. And then we had Chance on, and he was Team Money Disc, kind of like Money Ball, but Money Disc.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of there. You can come up with whatever you want it to be. So you can think on that. And
Okay.
while you're thinking on that, I got to pick the order here because the way the snake draft goes, it'll be like first person, second person, third person, second person, first person, and working back and forth.
Okay.
So I think one of the things I was looking at for this tournament was
Mhm.
78 MPOs in the field, and I believe it was 11 FPOs that are in the field. When I'm looking at that, sometimes being first is an advantage, but sometimes getting the double pick is the advantage. And I think in a field this deep,
Yeah.
I'm okay to go third in this one.
Oh.
So I'm going to go third so I can get that 2-person swing in that first round because I think
That's
there'll
fair.
be lots.
That's your choice.
I'm going to say, Carrie, as our team guest, you are going to be able to pick first. So you'll have your choice of anyone you want for that first pick. And then that'll put
Okay.
Daryl in the middle there, sandwiched in for second. That's my order.
All right.
Okay.
And are we going like MPO first, then FPO, or vice versa? Or do you do it all at once? Or?
All at once. Any order you want.
So if you want to go FPO, MPO, whatever order you want to do, it's up to you. But you can only have 3 MPOs and 3 FPOs in total. So that's your 6 players by the time you're done.
Okay, so I don't have to pick my 3 MPOs all at once, or 3 FPOs all at once. Okay.
You can pick whoever you think is the lock-in for a win. You can pick them first.
Yeah, or
Like
the one who's going to do all your Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, last week at for LTL, I went first because I came last I picked myself to go first, and I picked Thomas Gilbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of my lock-in to win the event, and it worked out pretty nicely for me last week.
It worked out well. Yeah.
So as going first, you get to pick any person you want.
And are you going to put us with our pictures up?
I'll do that in a second.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, but first, do you have that team name?
Yeah. So even though I play as a pro, I feel like an am. So this is going to be Team Carry Me. So you're going to carry me to the win.
I love it. Team Carry Me. Nice.
Yeah, perfect. All right.
Okay.
Let's get into.
Okay, so
there we go.
I really had to do some deep diving. I maybe even cheated and asked a fellow player in Vancouver who they thought might be the players to pick. But quite honestly,
I like it.
I don't follow, and God, don't hate me, I don't follow Canadian MPOs that closely. I follow the women in Canada.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go off the hop. If I have first pick, I'm taking Thomas because I know his skill level for sure. I have my other 8 here, but I want Thomas.
Yes.
I think I'm not going to speak for Jeremy, but I know he was my number 1 pick.
Yes, and he was mine as well, Carrie. And when he was on the show talking to us about LTL, that's when he revealed that his goal for the year was to win 8 Canadian MPOs and
8 years.
Or 8 years. Yep. So then, and he's already picked up 3.
Yeah.
And, out at DF, which was a new course for him, LTL was a new course for him, all that travel, everything else. Foxwood, he knows.
Yeah.
He's got TCO coming up, which he's already won 3 times in a row. So he's an unstoppable force, kind of like Joe Henderson so far this year. So I think Thomas is a great choice.
Yeah.
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 BC Open's going to be a little tougher. Like there's a lot of guys coming out from like Washington, Oregon that are right in there that can compete. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that puts it over to me.
Team Shambles.
Team Shambles.
First pick.
So this person,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give it away, is from Jefferson, Oregon.
Yes.
You mentioned it just there. Pro since 2009. Also coming, I'll say also because my other person, Thomas was coming off back-to-back wins. This person is coming off back-to-back wins. Team Shambles would like to pick Scott Withers.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
And with
Here's
Scott
my
too.
second pick.
Yeah, he's a great pick.
Think
You
he
know, he's
came
not a
second last
Canadian,
year.
of course, but the thing is, he had last year's tournament.
Yeah.
And even when we had Chandler Fry on the show, who did win the tournament, he had said that he's like, as much as Chandler played well and kept his game going,
Yeah.
Scott
Kind
just played a little poorly.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. And Scott's won the event before as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of those Americans who comes up and steals the Canadian, but I think that's because he's like right across the border for the most part. It's close.
Yeah, he's been coming up for a long time, and our guys play with him when they go down there. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So over to Team J-Pow for 2 picks.
So Team J-Pow is going to start on the FPO side.
Okay.
I have a player who is near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite FPOs out there. She's 896 rated. She's from Victoria, BC. She's up 4 points in her last rating update. She's been touring with her partner down in the US. She's been playing well. She tied for second last year at this event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have Gabby Lee as my first pick for my team.
All right.
I know every time I know Carrie too is when the other 2 players are in this picking are silent. That's sometimes one of those telling moments. You're like, because it's like, oh, I could curse at him or I could just stay silent. So
I scribbled really hard across her name just now when you said it. I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, it's a great pick.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
And then for my second pick, we're going to bump over to the MPO side. And we got a player that we all know, we all love. Daryl and I just saw this player at Spring Runoff and gave Coda Postma a run for their money.
Yeah.
And probably even Dakota would say could have had that tournament if it wasn't for a couple bad breaks, but that's what disc golf's all about. This person has that amazing bucket hat that I love so much, and I have one of my own.
Yeah.
1013 rated from Cranbrook, BC. Just announced, I don't know if you saw on social media, that he's going to be a dad.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah, congratulations.
That's what I saw there. So if that's the case, now I know sometimes when I put out this information, that's what I'm pretty sure I saw.
Okay.
So if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But if he's going to be a dad, he's got so much of that energy.
Right.
Casey Hannemeyer is going to be my first pick on the MPO side.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I just printed the list today off of Disc Golf Scene, and Casey's name's not on it.
What? No.
Picked him.
I did pick him. Don't tell me Casey's name's not on there now.
So this is a flip side.
Yeah, because I hope
we had this controversy last time with Chance.
Yes, you guys did. That's right.
When we did our picks, we made a pick and Chance was like, can you just help me? Because I'm looking at the list and this guy is not on there.
Yeah.
And it was because we do our picks a couple of days ahead of time.
That's
and he was doing it that day. So
I just did it last night.
Right.
PDGA BC Open Pro.
Carver, Chris, Cole, Colin, Connell. I don't see Casey in the MPO.
Ooh. Just go to Disc Golf Scene.
Disc Golf Scene. Okay, we're going to take a look here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could have done that one. You have to search for it again now.
Oh my goodness. So what do you think? Now, did you see that same post that I was talking about there, Kelly? Or Gary?
I did, yes. Yeah, him and Raven are having a baby. Yeah.
That is so exciting. Awesome. I was like, sometimes I get worried about that. There's been a few times where we've said something that we've seen and made a slight mistake.
No, it was on, I think she put it on her Facebook and tagged him. So.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's
as long as it's out there and you're not breaking news that.
Okay, so what I think we should do in a case like this, there's a couple things we can do. One, that could be my wasted pick for now.
Mm-hmm.
I still get a pick for MPO, but it has to, now this one just keeps passing on. Do you know what I mean? So I'll still have another pick at the end. So I've done my 2 picks, but one of them was not a player pick if
so you mean
not playing.
You get the last overall pick.
I will
pick another MPO.
Right, because that would be fair for me making my mistake.
Well,
if that's the case.
Let's confer with our guest.
Okay.
So in the past, in the past, if you've made, I mean, this is normally after we've made our picks and then the event starts. If somebody DNFs, it's like you pick them, they DNF'd, you just get no points. Now we're still
Yeah.
in the midst of picking our players because he's a withdrawal early.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna let him have the final MPO pick to replace that pick.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So then
Okay.
that puts it back to you, Daryl.
So it's back to me.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go to the FPO division. This player, I mean, I kind of feel bad because we're a Canadian podcast and we're talking about the BC Open, but I'm picking another player from Oregon. This person is a friend of the show. Big arm, big power. 15 events this year, mostly on the Pro Tour. Most of them are Elite Series or Majors. Team Shambles would like to welcome Taylor Chosik.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's a good pick. Taylor has been doing lots of things down there on the Pro Tour, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think if anything, what I would see with Taylor, and I was watching this and you and I saw it in New Zealand, is that it seems like her game can be very, very hot. And then sometimes it can have a little bit of a hiccup here and there. So
Right.
if she shows up and she's playing really well,
Yeah.
there's no one's going to beat her. But if she has that hiccup,
she's putting, it's game over.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, my turn.
Yeah, it's
for
back to
two
you
picks.
for 2 picks now.
Oh, I get two.
Yes.
Yeah, because you get
Oh.
pick
'Cause we're-
6 and 7.
Oh, right, we're going back. Okay.
We're going
Yeah.
back down again. Yeah.
So I did a little deep diving because I didn't know a lot of the women,
Right.
and I'm gonna go to the east,
Ooh.
all the way to Ontario,
Yeah.
and my first FPO pick is gonna be Alicia Hums.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we had Alicia on the pod not too
Mhm.
long ago. And when she
Yeah.
was on, she was telling us about that new course, the Twin Stacks course out in
Nickel City.
Sudbury.
Yeah,
that
I
she's been
didn't.
playing.
Yeah.
And that one there seems like it's a bit of a tough one. So she's got some good practice. She's going to be coming down to sea level. Hopefully, as long as she knows she's been
Yeah.
practicing her discs, that
Yeah.
should be good there. And
I noted that she's played 9 events this year, and 3 of them she's played in the MA1 division.
Yes.
So she's not shy about taking it to the guys. So yeah.
And that just shows me she's super competitive, right? And
Exactly.
when you play with the
That's
guys
it.
like that, you're meant guys, especially in your local club, when they're all friends, they kind of smack talk each other, and it can be a little more, mentally taxing to be on a card with them. And I think it's
Yeah.
great when women move into that place, and it helps with the mental game. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And actually,
Okay,
she
now-
she even said that on the podcast. Like she was sitting down. She and her husband,
Thomas.
Thomas, went down to room with another friend and another couple that they had, and they were watching FPO coverage. And Thomas and the other guy kind of looked at each other and then looked at the 2 women and said, "Are you always this friendly?" Like they just couldn't get over how they're everybody's nicing everybody's shot, or not nicing it, but great shot, and so happy and upbeat and welcoming to each other. Whereas like on the MPO side, it's dead silence. It's you're wishing they hit trees and stuff like that and everything else. So yeah. All right, so you get a
Okay.
third pick.
Third pick, I'm going to stay with the FPOs, and I'm going to take the obvious from Alberta, Amber Chazon. Really excited she's going out.
Yeah.
And I've just been cheering for her from the start and doing my best. I'm trying to get Latitude to notice her. So doing a lot of tags with Latitude, and
Yeah, she's all Latitude, all blue discs for sure.
Yeah.
So she's got a theme there. Some of the things that I love about Amber is her level of compete is so good. She also plays with the MA1s. She's a lefty, so I just
gonna say that. Yeah.
Yep. And there's some holes like playing Raptors, knowing some of those holes, lefty. It pays to be lefty.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. If being lefty is a bonus on some of these courses.
Well, just think of hole 1 at Raptors, right? That one is would be
Up
good
the
for a
hill
lefty
and-
for sure.
Yeah, hole 1, hole 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And beyond that too is her and Joe have been playing against each other, and we know how well Joe's been playing. So, and they're as much they're competitors, but they're also good friends. So I think they've been building each other's games up this year as well.
Yeah, they've done some practice rounds together, and I also think too her mental game. She has a lot of her practice with her child.
Yeah.
And if you can play really good golf with your toddler, you can play through anything.
You can
So,
focus on anything. Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings it back to you, Mr. Shambles.
Unfortunately, it brings it back to me for Team USA, apparently,
Oh, wow.
because I'm going south of the border again. Somebody from Seattle, Washington. Somebody who's up 4 points in the latest rating, up to 1008, coming off 4 wins. One or on the Northwest Disc Golf Flex C tiers.
Okay.
Team Shambles is going to pick Kirby Schneider.
Okay, yeah. Kirby and I think Kirby and their brother
It's
too.
frustrating, isn't it, Carrie?
Yeah.
When you have somebody next on your list and you're thinking, oh, he's going to fly under, or they're going to fly under the radar. No one's picking
Someone
that
messaged
person.
me and said, pick Kirby. So it's like, oh my God, I just looked him up before the show.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right,
happens.
so it
So,
does.
yeah, now it's back over to you.
And I think
You get
Trevor
pick
is maybe Kirby's, I don't know if they're brothers or there's another Snyder.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, so and they both
Is that who you're picking?
No.
Okay.
So I've got 2 picks here.
Yeah.
So without Casey being available and of course Thomas not being there as well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over I need an MPO.
I'm going to put, sorry, this is just for me. I'm going to put this person you're picking into pick 2.
And then we'll just know
And
I
then
have
put
the
pick
last
6 is the last one. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So this person that I've picked, they're one of the number of people who is above 1,000 rated.
If I can do it. Yeah.
And they won their last event.
Okay.
Been playing well. Probably not heard of this person before because they didn't play the BC Open last year. From Huntington Beach,
Okay.
Gavin Boss. Who's going to
Ooh.
be on Team JPOW. So that is now my second pick.
I'm scrolling. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
See, this is what I like about doing these picks when we have a bit more of the depth of field is, when it's a little bit tighter, we can pretty much kind of, maybe 1 or 2 picks we might go off, but for the most part, our lists are kind of the same. It just
Right.
depends who gets there first. But when we have this depth of field, like that, Gavin wasn't even on my radar. He wasn't on my list at all.
Well, there you go. So that was a nice pickup for me that way.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see with all the Eagles and stuff that Gavin hits as well. And we're gonna go with one more. So I'm going to go back to my FPO side of things. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that my second pick is still available on the table.
Right.
So this person plays probably fairly regularly with Gabby or from time to time. Definitely they've competed against each other. They're both from Victoria, BC.
Mm-hmm.
This person's 905 rated, has won the TCO. Carrie would remember, I'm sure. Was 4th last year at the BC Open. And we're going to welcome Julie Mowens to the team.
I looked at Julie. The only thing that I didn't have her higher up my list was the fact that she hasn't played a lot this year.
Right. But when you're that good, you don't need to play a lot.
No, that's absolutely. Yeah, no, she's definitely a good pick. And like you said, she's got history. So, yeah.
So we'll be back to you there, Team
Back to me. All right. This person I'm going to pick is a Canadian. You'll be glad to hear.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I just seen this person play at River City Cup.
Oh, did you?
They're playing regularly. This person has not cashed yet this year. Every event they've been in, they've cashed at.
Okay.
I'm going to pick from Lethbridge, Alberta, Noah Higgins.
Good pick. Yeah. And I don't know. Do you know, Carrie, has Noah ever gone out to play BC Open? I want to say this might be his first time out there. He wasn't there last year.
First, it might be his second time.
Okay.
Might be. I'm not sure. I'd have to take a look. Right. Yeah, he's on his way out there right now, I believe.
He is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now that'll be a good one.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay, so it's back to you for 2 picks now, Carrie.
All right.
You've got 2 of your FPOs and only 1 of your MPOs so far.
I know. So I'm going to take my FPO pick.
Okay, finish them off. Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to slaughter her last name. I don't know her. I've never seen her play, but I went and I deep dove her PDGA a little bit today. Okay. And I'm going to take Corey
Gerberdolan.
Yeah.
Gerberdolan. Sounds like that's how it's pronounced to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I have? Yeah, I just had that she's 899 rated
Mm-hmm.
out of Kent, Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you probably saw too, Carrie. It looked like she was up 3 points on her last rating bump, so that's a good sign always to see a player improving there. And then
Yeah. And
also, yeah,
some of the things I did too when I was checking out the women was if they had a first place finish, I checked it out to see if they were playing solo
Yeah.
or if
mm-hmm.
they actually had someone they were playing against.
Yep.
So, because lots of first place finishes are just by themselves in their division. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
know if there was some competition in there too. And yeah, I took a chance. I thought I'd
Yeah.
I think it's a
She,
good
she was
pick.
on my list. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And she's down there in Washington, which isn't too far away and would have similar climate, similar
exactly.
elevation. She's going to
Yeah.
have some of those tree shots and stuff that are so familiar in the BC area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a
And
great
the
pick.
inclement weather, like if it's raining or like the pouring, pounding rain and the wet or the morning dew and then the heat in the afternoon, and it's all kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
There you go. So that's your 3 FPOs. So obviously you're going to be
Okay.
focusing on MPO now.
But we'll go
All
to you,
right.
Daryl.
No, it's back to still
Nope, she
Carrie
did
has
her
the
two
second one.
picks.
Nope, she just picked
Okay,
one.
so I go again.
Oh, she
So
has another one.
Yep.
okay. Oh gosh. I'm gonna take Miguel.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got my guy, my boy.
Yeah, absolutely. He plays well. He's competitive. This is like a home course for him. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and his competitive mindset's really good. So, yeah,
Yeah, and well, as we talk about the nicest people in disc golf, we all know that
right.
Alex Penny carries that title, at least in the Alberta region for sure,
Yeah.
if not
Oh,
more.
for
But then
sure.
Gabby's there, Miguel's there. You've got these people who are just so great to be around. They either being around them or I'm sure playing on a card with them actually raises you,
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I feel, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
for
So,
absolutely.
sure, for
yeah.
sure.
And
He's
that's Miguel's mantra, right? That's what he says.
Hmm.
He's on, if he's on a card, he wants to, he feeds off the card. He wants to be that positive energy for everybody. He can read the card as well. So if everybody's not being that receptive to it, then he knows when to step back. But yeah, he's definitely the positive attitude on any card.
Yeah, he's one of the
he
ones who
was
doesn't follow the rule for MPO, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was super sweet at Falcons last year because after I finished my round, I went and I was flagging on the big, long downhill.
Yes.
I gotta think like
10, I think it,
five
or
maybe
oh,
on
5. Yeah.
the east. So
Yeah.
yeah, and so I was 5 or 6, I can't remember. Anyways, flagging there, and I was running back and forth. I was the only one on the court on the fairway, and people were saying thanks and fist bumping me and stuff. And he just came over and stopped and like really thanked me. And he's like, I can't believe everything you do. You come out here, you play, you volunteer. Now you're out here all afternoon flagging. And he was just, I'm like, okay, holy crap. Like he knows what I'm doing even.
Right.
So
Yes.
yeah, he's definitely got his finger on the pulse of disc golf and knows what people are up to and kind in giving
Yeah.
thanks. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
And
pretty cool guy
and I
and can
think
play
too,
awesome golf.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what we noticed too, Carrie, is when everybody else is raising their hand to give you a fist bump, he's like, "Can I give you a hug?" And he's ready
Yeah,
to give you a big hug
Yeah.
too.
totally.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's back over to me. And I have my 3 MPO, so I'm just going to be focusing on the FPO division. So I'm going to pick another Canadian out of Vancouver, British Columbia. 5 events, 5 wins. 2 of those events were at Raptors Knoll.
Ooh.
I'm going to be picking Alison Radic.
Nice.
I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Yep.
Radic?
Radish. Yep.
Yep.
And she was out at Nationals last year with us, Carrie. You saw her, you were doing the starting at the hole
Yep.
1 there. And yeah, she's got a good throw. She was making it clear across that water at the start of the
She
golf
sure
course.
was.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so she should be really well to play there.
Yeah. There you go. So now it's over to you for 2 picks.
Okay, so let's take a look. I've got Gabby Lee, Gavin Boss, Julie Mowens. Miguel's off the table for me. I am going to go with another MPO.
Okay.
Okay, this one here is 997 rated from Mercer Island, Washington. Was 5th at last year's BCO.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he could sneak in here and take this one this year. I
Okay.
don't want the Americans to come up and take it.
Yeah, that's where it's a
It's a
double-edged
tough
sword.
one to,
Yeah.
to pick, but if we're trying to get some points,
Yeah.
Axel Olsen, welcome to Team Team JPOW. You're going to be able to do that for me. Okay, so that's my first pick, and I get another one here. So we are going to cap off our MPOs and finish that out.
Yeah.
And what we have is we have a player that is Canadian,
Good.
987 rated from Nanaimo, BC. Just went up 7 points in their rating at the last rating bump. Justin De Silva is going to be on Team J-Pow to round things out.
There you go. There he is.
And now you've seen Justin play a bit, have you, Carrie? Or yeah?
He was actually my next pick. So.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry,
No,
not
you're
sorry.
Not sorry.
Exactly.
Quit being so Canadian.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Sorry about that.
All right, so then it comes back to me to finish off my team.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking at the FPO division. This person, another person from Vancouver, BC. It's a new name to me.
Okay.
Very familiar with Raptors and all again. 5 events, seconds and firsts, all the way down through the list. Team Shambles is very happy to welcome, in the FPO division, JJ Sun.
Nice.
I'm not familiar with JJ. Are you familiar with her, Carrie?
Not a lot. No.
Well, hopefully by the end of this event, we will be a lot more familiar
That's
with
what we say. That's part of what
That's
this
what
is
it
all
is.
about, is to get to know these players and get those names out there, start talking about them, put them out on social media maybe a little more. And
people that vote for Team Shambles to win
We'll
will
be
actually
watching
be checking
JJ.
PDJ live and be seeing where JJ finishes to hopefully finish in that top 10, if not on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
there you go. Okay, so Carrie, your last pick.
My last pick. Okay. So, oh man, this is funny. I got Ontario, I got BC, I got Alberta.
So when we
I
had
just
Tim
wanna go-
Plamondon on the podcast, on
Yes.
the fantasy picks, he was like, I've got my list, I've got it set out. If somebody goes, I drop to the next one. But I know you've been saying this sort of thing before, is that you have your list set out, but then when it comes to your picking, you're like, well, I could go this person, I could go that person. You have your list, but you don't stick to it. So if you have your list, Carrie, I would advise you to stick to it. But it's so hard because you think, by the time I get to this point in the picks, my choice is going to be, most of the top picks are going to be gone. But now you're left with that situation where you've probably got 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 people to pick from.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm just going to click his name one more time and just make sure I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a chance on an Alberta player, and I watched him come up through the ranks, and he's an incredible soccer player as well. I'm going to pick Connell McLeod.
Oh,
right.
Great.
And I think if it, let me just find his name here, because I had his name written down and I think I had something written about him.
Well, he was just up at LTL.
He was up at LTL. He played the Edmonton River City Cup this weekend, and now he's playing out in BC. So he's playing regularly. And if you know the way that I make my picks, there's 2 things I look for. Have you played a lot this season, and did you go up in your ratings? Those are the 2 things that I normally look for. So Connell's definitely playing. The one thing that I looked, if you look at his recent events, if you can just pull up his PDGA, you'll notice that he finished, I believe, like 2nd at his first event, and then I think he finished like 14th or 90th, or so he finished 5th, then 44th, then 3rd, then 14th, then 2nd, then 18th, then 2nd, then 11th. So it's like he's having a bit of a back and forth, up and down season. So he just finished 11th,
which means he should be finishing up at that first second.
Yeah, which means he's on his way back up.
SeaTac Open had a lot of the pros from Oregon and Washington. Going down to the Glassblown Open and coming in 44th, Glassblown Open's, it's a big deal. There's thousands of players go there, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's
and to come in 2nd and battle with Thomas and at Larger Than Life, and
no, that's a great pick.
And when we were down in Lethbridge for spring runoff, we got a chance to meet his parents. They were both there.
I met them out at River City as well.
Oh, you met them there as well. And they're just great supporters as well. So he's got a good family unit there that is all about disc golf, kind of like what Kai Sotnikow has and some of the other players out there.
Yes, great family support. Yeah, is it Kai that says his mom and dad walk the course with him?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, and they have their walking sticks, and they just walk the whole course with them.
I met both sets of parents this weekend. Yeah,
there you go. All right. Well,
Nice.
now we're getting to Jeremy's sixth pick
Yes,
of
you
the
got
night as
2
we
picks.
get back to the end here.
Yeah.
So I need to get one more FPO player.
Yeah, 1 last pick, sorry, not 2 picks. You got 1 last pick.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's
how
right.
did you? Oh yes, because you jumped to yes. 1 last pick, FPO.
All right.
You're correct.
Are you good?
I'm good.
All
Sorry.
right. So I need one more FPO. And there is someone that you know, Daryl, is always near and dear to my heart. This player has been working and working on their game. Their game has been, last year, I believe it was quite hot. They were winning a lot of tournaments. They were really placing high,
Yeah.
struggled a little bit. But I know that it's just about time to turn around.
Right.
They always go out there to have fun, talking about having fun cards and FPO cards. This is
Yeah.
a card you always want to be on. 863
Yeah.
rated, out of Edmonton, Alberta. Heiser, Bomb, Hong. Do I need to say more?
There you go. Yeah.
Great choice. And I love her mindset, the shift she's made kind of early on in the season, realizing that she was missing the fun on her card and missing just enjoying and being in the moment. And I think this is a great opportunity for her to come like out of province to a whole different event, all brand new faces, and just bring the fun, Terry. And yeah, I think she's going to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Agreed.
So
Daryl, at this point, what do we normally do now that the picks are done?
we normally bring it back to here to allow me to do something. Let me save that screen and then go up to here. And then you can keep talking and filling in while I do this. If
Okay.
like.
So he's doing the
There you go,
magical technical. That's all I had to say?
Yeah. Well, you're meant to fill in while I was saying the things that I was saying. But if we go to the recap screen, what we'll do now is we'll start with the person who started first. That will be you. If you want to give us a recap of your whole team. And I'll just bring it up on the screen here. There you go. So if you want to give a rundown on your...
All right. So for my MPOs, I've picked Thomas, Miguel, and Connell. So I've got Ontario, BC, and Alberta represented there at the BC Open.
Nice. Yes.
And then my FPOs, I've got Alicia from Ontario, Amber from Alberta, and Corey from Washington State.
There you go.
I only took one American player.
Yes, I was going to say that's pretty great. That's 5 out of 6.
Felt like that was directed at me.
I think, well, maybe both of us there. Well, before we get to Daryl's though, Carrie, what I want to do, especially with a field this big, we should have, if you had somebody on your list that you wanted to give an honorable mention that maybe you didn't pick, is there somebody there that you want to be like, sorry you didn't make the team, but wishing you good luck this weekend because you were right up there for you?
Yes, Luke Levesque. So yeah,
that's another good name. Another good shout out.
I would have loved to put him on my list. So yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well,
he
and
just
for him,
withdrew from PCO, so I'm
okay.
I'm not sure what's going on. So I was really hoping to still see his name at the BC Open, and it is. So
good.
That's good.
I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Well, and with Luke too, that was the one episode where the only episode that Daryl wasn't on the show, but he was still in the chat.
Yeah.
And I chatted with Luke, and Luke is just, to me, he is such a cool kid. Like, he fits to me the cool factor, because he was dropping slang that I don't know, and I had to look it up afterwards.
Oh yeah. And he came to TCO last year at karaoke and sang in French.
Oh, amazing.
That's right.
Karaoke in French last year. It was awesome.
That's perfect.
He did a lot of growing up. Like, he's been to every TCO, and so 2022, he was still like that teenager, like, give you the nod, like, yeah, bro, like kind of like that thing, and like kind of thought, oh, the teenager vibes. And then the next year is a bit better than last year. He was just like this full circle, like he's adulting now, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, growing up. So it's neat to see these kids kind of grow up at the same time and make their way through the sport. So yeah, he is a fantastic kid, and I just didn't add him to the list because he withdrew from TCO, so I wasn't sure. He's not gone from BC Open, but I don't know what's happening. So
right.
No, that's a good thing. Good points. So I went second, and I'm gonna apologize because I can't remember exactly where they're from, but I guess I could look. So my first pick, Scott Withers from Jefferson, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
My second pick was Taylor Chosek from
Eugene.
Eugene, Oregon. My third pick was Kirby Snyder, and he's from Seattle, Washington.
So this was one of the Canadian A tiers, wasn't it?
This is one of the Canadian. I can't control who is in the event.
Okay, just saying.
Then my fourth pick, Noah Higgins from Lethbridge, Alberta. Allison Radich was my fifth pick over on the FPO side from Vancouver, BC.
Mm-hmm.
And then rounding out my top 6 picks was JJ Sun, also from Vancouver.
And what about your honorable mention?
Yeah, and this is what kind of surprised me, because as you know, the reason why I got the name Team Shambles was because when we first started the first ever draft that we did, all I knew that I had to pick was 3 MPO, 3 FPO. So I wrote down my 3 MPO, 3 FPO, and then quickly realized that, oh, wait a minute, if somebody takes one of my MPO picks or FPO picks, then I need to figure out somebody else. So then that's when Jeremy was like, yeah, you need to pick 9 of each to be able to combat the missing players. So I have a list of 9 people, and you and Carrie both took people that weren't on my list. So I was expecting to be a bit further down my list of 9 by the time I was rounding out my pick. So I've got picks high up on my list that didn't go because you picked other players. So I'd like to give a shout out to, and I thought this was going to, and I said to you earlier, I'm like, I've got a sleeper pick, but I never got to it because my higher picks I was able to grab.
Available, yeah.
So I'd like to give a shout out to Kieran Atkinson.
Oh,
because we mentioned him. He was one of the MPOs that went down on the Pro Tour.
That's right.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Went to the Northwest Championships, I believe it was.
Yeah. So I was excited to pick him, and he's from Vancouver. And then another name that we've seen on coverage before, and we've he's been referenced quite a bit by the nickname, or not the nickname, but the initials EHO.
Oh, yes.
So I was going to shout out Eric Hjorth Olsen as well. I thought he would have gone, but yeah, no. And then I also had Colin Bryant, but he's from Washington. But those 2 Canadians are a surprise that they never went.
There you go. Those are good options too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Team J-Pow. Team J-Pow starts with the amazing Gabby. I just think this should be Team Amazing today, is what mine should be. But the amazing Gabby Lee.
There's something to be said about self-confidence.
Yeah. And we would have had...
Well, you're wearing the Miguel jersey. So.
I do. I didn't get Miguel, but I was wearing it. I was going to have the amazing Casey Hannemeyer, but there's a reason. Something's going on. That's okay. Yeah. We've got Gavin Boss out of the U.S. who's going to come up. He's a boss, so it's going to be good. Got Julie Mowens, another amazing Canadian. Got Axel Olsen. It's just a cool name. I don't need to know anything else except for that.
Right.
Got Justin De Silva, another great Canadian. Of course, Heiserbom Hong. Look at that FPO card. Wouldn't you want to, if that was the FPO card and you were the 4th person on that card and you were playing with Gabby Lee, Terry Hong, and Julie Mowens?
Yeah.
Could you ask for anything more?
It'd be an awesome card.
Yeah, there you go.
A dream card. So is there anybody else that you wanted to give a shout out that maybe you didn't get to pick?
Yes. Well, one thing you'll find out about me, Carrie, is when it comes to making these picks, I believe in putting power couples together. Like when we were at LTL, it's like having Kristen Swirls on the team. Sure, that's great. Having Tim Plamondon on the team, sure, that's great. But having Tim and Kristen and having the power of the couple on the team, that's what it is. So for me, this person actually gave me and Daryl a bit of the gears at Nationals last year and really showed us why we made a mistake when they ended up on lead card for the final round of Nationals. Yes. And that was Riley Douglas. So I always want to make sure to give him a little attention because he's going to go out there and he can do some amazing things. And I wanted to shout him out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we did talk about him on the previous podcast as well. For one more shout out would be Carver Whitford too. Because Carver, when he shows up at events, he's another one of those players that when his putting is on, everything is going down. So
amazing putter.
He had some surgery here a while back, and so he's recovering, and this is I think these are his first really big tournaments maybe coming back. I'm not sure. BC Open, so. TCO. So
he's starting to get back into it.
Yeah.
So there you go,
guys. I have a question. Because I've been thinking about this after I watched the European Championships.
Okay.
And so you can't play in the European Championships unless you're a resident in Europe.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we just gave Daryl a hard time for picking all these Americans. But what do you guys think? Do you think that like the Canadian national championships or like the Canadian Open or the even the US DGC lets everybody else from around the world in? Do you think North America's missing the mark? Do you think there's room or we're ready to have like you got to be Canadian to play or should be open to like there should be our provincial championships should be top MPO, FPO Canadian, get a bye to the Canadian championships, or like I feel like we missed the mark and we open up our border too much. Even though I
Oh,
love the pros coming up, and I know it feeds our amateur side of our events when the pros
yeah.
come because the AMs get really excited and they want to see it. Like back in the day when we would have like Avery Jenkins here, or Dave Felberg, or Eric McCabe, Paige
Hmm.
Pierce, Elaine King. The AM side would be sold out just because they want
Yeah.
to have clinics and stuff. But I feel like we don't represent ourselves well enough, um, provincially and nationally, recognizing our own players at home. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll let Jeremy take it because he's going to stand up on his soapbox now. Go for
Well, I am
You probably
100.
share that soapbox.
it.
Well, I'm 100% with you with some of that there, Carrie. And what I would say is Canadian nationals. And if we're going to call it Canadian nationals, I say it should be Canadians only. I doesn't mean that, I love the fact, like you said, Philo's coming up this year and some of those other players. That's really cool. I would think that it would be great if they wanted to come up just to do clinics and just to be part of the event and not
Yeah,
necessarily play in the event. I'd be really excited because to have that part. But I do think if it's Canadian nationals, it should just be Canadians. If it's going to be the Canadian Open, just in the word open, that would say to me you're opening it up to other players and it's not
yeah,
just our Canadians. So that's my personal feeling. But really, the drum that I've been trying to beat on that Daryl's talking about is I would really like to see us get to a point where the same way that the Ontario Disc Golf um, Disc Sports Association does the protection to Ontario provincials where you have to qualify for provincials.
yeah,
You can't just
yeah,
get into it. I'd like to
yeah.
see each of our provinces and territories that are participating do that and have that culminate to a Western and a Canadian finals and then have
Eastern.
those players start to come to nationals as the representatives as well
I
because you'd find
100%
like
agree.
yeah. Like Thomas can make
So,
it all over the place, but
yeah,
not everybody else can. But maybe they can make it to nationals if they've won that position in
yeah.
there.
Um, I know, like when I sat with before it was the BC Disc Golf Association, it was the BC Disc Sports Society, BCDSS, and
Hmm.
one of the goals I had was to take we have in British Columbia, we have the BC Games, and we have different zones. So
Okay.
I found a disc golfer in every zone that would represent, and the idea was you have a tournament in that zone, and those players get a bye to provincials. So it's kind
Right.
of making our provincials more um, represented by the whole province, right?
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if you just open it up, if provincials are at Raptors Knoll, you could have this same list. It could be filled with Americans, right? Coming up and winning a provincial title.
Yeah.
Um, I know when we hosted Canadians here in Kamloops, especially 2011, 2013, we had like Eric McCabe and Paige here. What we did was, although they won first place, we still had an award for first Canadian MPO and first Canadian FPO. So
Okay.
even
Yeah.
though they might not even have been on the podium, but they still were recognized as the top
The top.
Canadian
Yeah.
pro that won their division. So yeah, like I feel like we've come a long ways though. I feel like we could be creating like a Western Canadian final, Eastern Canadian final, having all those people have at least a bye to the nationals,
Right.
and then yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just
I
wondering.
think, yeah, no, absolutely. And I do agree with you. And I know I give you the gear sometimes by saying, when you go on this rant, and
Yeah.
then I try and combat it by saying, so that by that standard, then Thomas would never come to Western Canada to play in events because he's got to qualify in the East, and Casey's got to qualify in the West. So Casey will never go to Foxwood Open, for example, because you're keeping them separate, and they can only meet when they meet in the final, sort of thing. So I kind of give you a little bit,
Are the gears that
yeah,
way?
but not really. I do agree with you, but I would like to say that it is a double-edged sword. Exactly what Kerry said is getting those Americans up to these events does gain interest, does get more people signed up.
Mm-hmm.
People want to,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, and I'll also kind of add on to that as well. When I was out at Smith Lake Farm for the disc golf clinic, Nate Sexton was there. Oh, and even when we interviewed him, he said that he likes to give Thomas the gears by saying that he's the most decorated Canadian winner because he's won more titles, nationals than Thomas.
Right, because he
So when you
came
have an
up when he
American,
ran the juniors one.
yeah, because he won the juniors one. Because when an American comes up and wins, and they're winning that many, I think we have a
Yeah.
problem.
Mm.
No, not necessarily a
Well,
problem. A problem's the wrong phrase, but like you said, we're missing out by promoting all these Canadian pros to be able to
Well,
get to that level.
Paige is a 3-time Canadian champion, I think. Raven's a Canadian champion, right?
Yeah.
She
Yes,
beat
Raven
Paige.
won
Raven is.
Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen Latt's a Canadian champion. Or
Yes.
Kristen Latt, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So, we've got all these international players that are Canadian champions. Like this year or last year was the first time
In 10
since
years or 9
2011.
years?
Yeah.
9 years. Yeah,
That's
the
right.
delayed one. So, yeah. So we went 9 years with no Canadian FPO winning nationals.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think there is something about protecting it a bit. And as you said, European disc golf is doing that. We don't see any Americans or Canadians over there for that specific tournament. And it's a specific tournament or a specific set of events. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be part of other events.
Right.
Just those specific ones that are focusing on the nationalness of the country.
And obviously, because it's over in Europe, we wouldn't hear about it. But you don't hear about Europeans complaining that the European Open only has European players, and they're missing out on Paige Pierce and Ella Hansen and Missy Gannon coming over. They're not complaining because they know they have a core group of players, and it's prestigious for them to have only Europeans playing it. And
that's the word. It's
Yeah.
prestigious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Kristen had said one time, that award meant just as much to her as her world title did. Like you're winning among the peers that you learned to play disc golf with. Like these are the people that were your competition until you went to America.
Yeah.
Right. And it just goes to show, if you watched any of the European, it was Evelina and Kristen, it was their show, but everyone below them, they were all battling. They were all close in score. And no one was putting the asterisks on it, right? Like, oh, was she really the winner because Paige wasn't there, or
Holland wasn't there?
Yeah.
Like they do that all the time down in the States, right? The Disc Golf Pro Tour. Did she really win because Kristen
It was a
wasn't
weekend.
here? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not like it's prestigious. So why can't we give some prestige to our national title?
Yeah. And even too, when we had Max Rogitnik on and he was talking about the Swedish nationals too, like it goes right down to Sweden where it is only Swedish players, right? So, and I don't think Sweden's
okay. Who did you
as
send
big.
an email to?
Well, I think it starts with these conversations is what it does. And then eventually having conversations with Can Disc Golf. And if they believe in that same idea, those are the things where they could go. So, I don't know that we've got Craig's ear yet, but we will be talking to him about Can Disc Golf at some point because we want to promote that as well. And
yes,
I'll take the opportunity to sneak that in.
More people need to know what Can Disc is. Not enough people know what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's a fantastic opportunity to talk to him about it for sure.
I
know I picked his brain and bugged him a bit at nationals last year because this newer era, unless you're in the know or unless someone who's part of it, or like you guys, because you do the podcast, or myself, I've been around long enough, we know what it is. But to the average disc golfer, go to Rundle Park and be like, hey, what do you guys think of the Can Disc initiative? And they'll be like, what's Can Disc?
Right.
So I think it needs to be talked about more, especially if they're going to be our national sports organization.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that was it. We just, with Dion there, we talked about the provincial sports organization, and then now to get a national sports organization as well. So
it opens up funding, like tremendous funding. Like I don't know about Alberta, but BC, if you're a PSO, all of a sudden there's grants through like BC lotteries, gaming grants, right? There's money that comes in. So,
okay. Yeah.
Maybe you can run your own casinos at that point too. I don't know, or not, or be part of the casinos, do the volunteering.
You get to apply for the gaming grants for the money to like better your sport, so that's kind of cool. So there's and all kinds of government grants when you're a PSO and NSO. So
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Carrie,
Perfect.
we know that you've got
Thank
lots
you.
going on with TCO. We appreciate you coming on for BCO. What we'll do next is we're going to put up a post that will have our 3 teams there on Instagram. We'll tag you in that. And then people can go and vote on which team they think is going to do the best this weekend.
Yeah, I'll be tagging as many pros as I can to get them involved as well, because they like it when they're tagged, because then they'll reshare it to their followers as well, and then it will just spread like that. So we tend to get a few votes on this.
Yeah.
And then
also the other picks too, right, Daryl?
Oh yeah, the other picks as well. What we just showed you there, what we just showed you was actually chainoutpodcast.com.
Yep.
Head over there. You can make your own picks as well. And then
And
you'll
you
be
have
able to
no
click
limitations,
the leaderboard. No limitations on that one. Three MPO, 3 FPO. Also put in your predicted MPO final score as well as your FPO final score. And take a look at the other community picks as well. You can see how everybody else is doing. And coming up soon, I think we said, is either this week or after this event, or maybe after the next event, we'll do the midpoint, and we'll do some gift card giveaways to BR Disc Golf, who's kindly sponsoring the fantasy picks.
Yeah, we might. We don't know. We have a DF Open trucker hat. I don't know if we're going to give it halfway or at the end. We haven't decided yet.
I think the trucker hat was going to be halfway, because I think we did mention that we had the jersey as well.
Oh, right.
I think the jersey was going to be at the final.
You
Because
guys
we
are
said
just abundant with giveaways.
We try. Well, we always working with everyone we want or that we reach out to, and hopefully they can support it that way. And
we go and buy discs and we get them signed by the pros and we give those away.
Yeah,
we're all
That's
about giving away.
awesome.
We like to give back.
So
Awesome. You guys are amazing.
And you are amazing as well.
You're amazing.
And we know we'll be chatting with you. And if Chad wants to join us when we do the recap on the TCO, make sure he knows he's welcome to be part of that too. And we'll be talking to you again in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to 5 days away. 5 days is check-in. So
there
or
you
7
go.
days.
Wow.
7 days. Oh, 7 days. So fun.
You just got 2 days back. Look at that.
All right, guys. Thank you for
Awesome.
everything you do. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
All right.
See ya.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
There you go, Jeremy. The picks are set.
Well, that's the picks are set. And one of the things is an episode like this, that's a fantasy episode. And you have someone like Carrie on who's got so much good thoughts and ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
And she knows which buttons to push for me to get me going.
Exactly. Well, I got to give you some credit now. All these wacky ideas that you come up with, some of them stick, some of them don't. But when you have somebody backing you like Carrie Neal, who's been around the sport for quite a long time, who knows all about, the intricacies of, running events, promoting events, organizations, things like that. If she's saying the same thing as you, maybe
I got something.
Yeah, maybe
well,
you got something.
I think the one thing that happens with that is the base of the idea is everyone can start to get around and rally around it. But the details of it, that still needs to be determined. Right. Because there is a lot of different ways
You're
could
just
make
going to
that
be the glue that pulls everybody together.
Well, that would be great, right? If people like Carrie and I can do that, and we can say, we're the DJ Khaled's, right? Because have you ever heard them talk about that?
No, but I can't believe you're using that as an example.
Because so DJ Khaled, what they say is that, what does he actually do aside from another one?
Yeah.
Right. But what he does is he goes, Justin Bieber, if you came together and you did a song with
do the accent.
Taylor Swift, if the two of you came together, that would just be the best. And then they come together and they do this amazing thing.
Right.
That's what he does. He's a connector.
Okay.
So maybe we can do that.
Fair enough.
All right. So what is it?
All right. If you've listened this far, please either drop comment and let me know who's going to win. And if you agree with Jeremy and Carrie's idea that we need to keep Canadian nationals Canadian. Also, head over to our Instagram, check the post. Please vote on which team you think is going to be the strongest, which team you think is going to win the points. Also, head over to chainoutpodcast.com, make your own pick. Sign up, it's free. You can play along. Make your picks over there. We'd appreciate that. Also, check out at the top of the screen at Chain Out Podcast, right at the very top, it'll say podcast picks. You can vote over there as well. I'd appreciate it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all of those things.
Perfect. I love it.
There you go.
So
now you can take it out.
I think what we'll tell you right now is this one, we kept it on the rails, just barely.
Yeah.
And what we would like to do is we'd like to have these railroad tracks in a circle on a course. Because if we were in a circle on a course, we could do a ring of fire, because we would just be riding around with our
Where are you going with this one?
with our putters. We'd be throwing them
Around the basket? That's not this episode.
All right, this is
If you were on these rails and you went around and it was like a ring of fire, you could chain out Fantasy League. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.